The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is overseeing a long-term planning study that will gather public input on a proposal to convert a segment of US 41 in Wisconsin to an interstate highway. Designating US 41 as an interstate holds many potential benefits, including a national corridor identity or brand that will promote economic growth, along with the efficient and safe movement of people and goods. The corridor study limits extend 175 miles from the Russell Road interchange just south of the Wisconsin state line through the Mitchell interchange in Milwaukee, and then following I-894, US 45, and US 41 to the US 41 I-43 interchange in Green Bay. Much of the corridor is already signed as either I-94 or I-894. This project will convert the 132 miles from Milwaukee's Zoo interchange to Green Bay to an interstate highway. The corridor serves as a major transportation arterial for eastern Wisconsin. For the local traveling public, most already recognize US 41 as a high-quality freeway. But as an interstate highway, it would offer national rather than just regional recognition, along with even higher levels of safety and mobility. After watching this presentation, the question you might be asking is not, why should US 41 be an interstate, but rather, why isn't US 41 an interstate already? In the 1990s, section by section, US 41 was improved to remove at-grade intersections and access points and became a freeway posted at 65 miles per hour. This work helped clear the way for the future interstate conversion. At the urging of local communities and economic organizations, Wisconsin Congressman Tom Petri sponsored legislation regarding US 41. The federal transportation bill enacted in 2005 designated the US 41 corridor as a future interstate route. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker announced his support of the project in April 2011, making the conversion a priority with plans to install interstate signage by 2014. The effort has received bipartisan support, including U.S. Senator Herb Kohl and from congressional representatives Petri, Reed Ribble, and Tammy Baldwin. US 41 carries as many as 150,000 vehicles per day, which amounts to about 4% of the total vehicle miles traveled in Wisconsin every year. Trucks account for about 10 to 20% of the overall traffic. The interstate system allows industry to stay competitive with other states, and adding these 132 miles will put Wisconsin more in line with neighboring states. The major project tasks that the study team is responsible for include route designation, a Tier 1 environmental impact statement, an agreement between the Wisconsin DOT and Federal Highway Administration, and interstate signing. One of the key questions is, what will be the route number? The Wisconsin DOT will submit an application for a route number in the fall of 2012. AASHTO, the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, and the Federal Highway Administration will make the final selection. Preparing the environmental impact statement is one of the Wisconsin DOT's primary tasks. The National Environmental Policy Act ensures that the public will have ample opportunity to comment on the process and study findings. The documents will be available on the project website for review. The EIS being prepared as part of this study is called a Tier 1 EIS that will focus on broader issues. Any improvement project that is needed will have a Tier 2 document that will address site-specific details on project impacts, costs, and mitigation measures. The Agency Coordination Plan and the Impact Methodology Analysis Plan document how the department will coordinate the study with agencies and local officials, as well as the procedures that will be followed to measure the impacts and benefits of converting US 41 to an interstate. Section 1 of the Environmental Impact Statement describes the project's purpose and need. The purpose is to enhance economic development by converting and signing US 41 to an interstate, while the need is based on a combination of legislation and economics. Section 2 will also be available on the study website. The no-build alternative would not convert the corridor to an interstate, and the highway would remain signed as US 41. Although it would cause no direct impacts to the environment, it would also not allow for the economic benefits that are associated with an interstate highway, so it would not meet the purpose and need for the project. Conversion of US 41 to an interstate could have some minor direct impacts due to the installation of the interstate signs if new posts or structures are needed. However, it will stimulate economic opportunities along the corridor and meet the project's purpose and need. Conversion to an interstate may also have some potential impacts related to freight. Federally mandated maximum weight limits apply to the interstate system and to vehicles that currently operate on US 41. It's estimated that 10 to 20% of trucks using US 41 are classified as oversize overweight. The current US 41 roadway and other projects along the corridor are constructed to handle these overweight loads, and the department does not want truck traffic diverted off the US 41 corridor onto the state system. To address this issue, Senator Cole was recently able to insert language into the Senate Transportation Appropriations Bill that will grandfather the existing statutes and permitting process so that those trucks currently utilizing the US 41 corridor will be able to continue business as usual after the interstate conversion. Federal rules also impact signs along many highways. In 1965, the Lady Bird Johnson Highway Beautification Act was announced as an America the Beautiful initiative. Then President Lyndon B. Johnson said, "I want to make sure that the America we see from these major highways is a beautiful America." The act does not address signs that are located on the property of businesses they advertise. Interstate designation will change the status of most of the existing legally permitted billboards to non-conforming, which means that they will not be able to be improved or reconstructed. In general, new billboards will not be allowed along the corridor. The US 41 corridor connects the two largest regional economies in Wisconsin, the Appleton-Oshkosh-Neenah Combined Metropolitan Statistical Area, with the Milwaukee-Racine-Waukesha Combined MSA. It's one of the major transportation arterials in eastern Wisconsin, with 22% of Wisconsin's population living along the corridor. The Wisconsin DOT conducted an online survey in the fall of 2011 to help understand potential economic impacts associated with conversion. Most respondents agreed that designation of US 41 as an interstate will positively impact economic development in the US 41 corridor. More than 70% of respondents felt that designation of US 41 as an interstate would increase property values along the corridor, and if converted, the potential economic impacts could extend 10 miles or more from the interchanges. The Fox Valley area stands out as one of the few locations nationwide where a cluster of 3 cities with populations over 40,000 are not within 25 miles of an interstate highway. Interstate conversion will help these cities compete against peer communities when large businesses are looking for market expansion locations. The manufacturing sector is a key employer in the study area, and these industries stand a better chance of being competitive along an interstate corridor. The agreement between the Federal Highway Administration and Wisconsin DOT will address deficiencies along the corridor. For example, a stretch of highway with substandard shoulders may be improved to bring the shoulders to the correct width. The project team has developed a strategic improvement plan to use in the negotiation process with FHWA. The department does not anticipate a great amount of standalone projects. However, when it comes to programming improvements, interstates are evaluated with a higher priority to meet the public's higher expectations for safety and mobility. The input and feedback of the public and stakeholder groups are critical elements of the study process. This includes comments on the initial environmental impact statement that will be used to complete a draft EIS in the fall of 2012. A public hearing on the Tier 1 environmental impact statement will be held in the spring of 2013 to meet the goal of having a signed EIS and a completed agreement between FHWA and the Wisconsin DOT by the end of 2013 to allow for installation of interstate signage in 2014. It's expected that interstate designation and official signage will stimulate economic growth, increase safety, and create a positive corridor identity. Again, the DOT is interested in your comments and looks forward to hearing from you soon.